on. Do you know what I am? Smooth. People comment on it all the time. Don't know how to get through life. I'm so slippery and smooth.
Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money, and no topics are off limits.
None. Absolutely none.
None. Test us.
Yeah, try
See
us.
how far we can go. How are we feeling today?
Good. Ready to help some people? Ready to hear some wins, hopefully, from the community? I'm sure there will be. They're absolutely smashing it. They're on fire. Our WhatsApp community group is absolutely on fire.
There's never-ending wins.
Oh.
It's insane. I love it.
Laura and I had a little cry, didn't we?
Which day?
Friday. Well, which cry?
Which child did it?
I'm going to break it down for you. It was on Friday after a really long week. And a really good long week, but it was tough. And the community was on fire, but there were so many beautiful wins. And there was actually a baby. One of our Financielle community members had a baby. And I remember months ago her talking about creating a sinking fund for maternity leave. And she was like, it's just for in the future. Like, I've had children before, but I really, I'm committed to making sure that we as a family feel like financially well. So we're going to start a sinking fund for maternity leave. And other people in the group, like, I had one, it really helped me. And we had one, it really helped us. And so did you. And she was like, I'm really inspired to set it up. So it was months and months ago. And then all of a sudden on Friday, just dropped in a little baby picture.
Oh,
gorgeous.
Cried.
Yeah, proper tears.
It was on the back of people kind of like an amazing community member sharing her story about buying her first home as a solo buyer after going through 2 relationship breakdowns and being a mother of 3 on her own. And there's a lot of people. Someone got a job. She went for the interview in the morning.
Oh my God.
In the morning, she had an interview in the afternoon.
We were getting live
like,
updates. I loved it.
Any last words? Anyone? Any last tips? And it was, you can do this. You can do this. And then it was, I got the job. And so I think it's a real reminder of this stuff isn't money. No. This stuff isn't finance. This is not numbers. This is life. And there'll be a lot of people in our community in the app watching updates like this that will get inspired by completely normal people doing like extraordinary things. And that's what's really special. So we cried. Yeah. I actually did a video to everyone and I was like, everyone has to stop it now. That's enough. Like tomorrow.
Too many wins.
Too many wins. Like it was the one that, just the baby pic. It finished us all off. Beautiful little baby. But that was
another
one of the
Financielle baby on the list. Got loads.
Never ending list.
Stop it, people.
I'm going to open a school soon. Childcare, anybody?
No, it was good. A really good week. So yeah, it's nice to kick off with some good news.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to start with a little controversial opinion.
Okay.
And it might call some people out here. Probably a lot of people.
Can't be us.
Are you ready?
Ready.
You may think it, but you are not credit card hacking.
I'm liking it already.
So to all of the people who, what comes to my mind first is Amex, because on TikTok I see a lot of, this flight was free because I bought it with my Amex points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's a normal thing for all credit cards. Like there's benefits if you use them.
On rewards cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think Virgin is a big one for people. BA, Amex are connected. Yeah, so people, points means prizes.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people think they're winning.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us why they're not.
They're not
brutal.
They're not winning for a number of reasons. So credit card companies, surprisingly enough, know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. So they make millions and millions of pounds of profit, probably billions in revenue per year from us credit card users. And the credit card companies are better at it than us. There may be a small percentage of people that if you have a high spend environment, whether you are self-employed and you have a lot of business expenses, whether you spend a lot as a family in the shops or on fuel, lots of different scenarios, I suspect, where mathematically it does make sense to just pay for all that on a card and pay it off in full at the end of the month. Absolutely fine. The reality is that so few of us can fit emotionally into that space, never mind numbers wise, that you get distracted by the points that could pay for flights for some holiday that you may go on eventually and get distracted from the underlying you get distracted from the underlying elements, which is one, did you overspend? So we are proven to spend more on credit. Proven. You automatically spend more because it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Not your money. So whatever you think you're saving in points that can go towards the random holiday, you've probably overspent anyway. And so you're actually
you
worse
could have
off.
saved for the holiday.
You could have paid for the flight.
Yeah.
And this is for the majority of people. There is a minority that can do it. So that's one thing. One, you've overspent. Two, one thing changes in your financial situation. You lose a job, a bill comes in, an emergency, and you suddenly can't pay off that in full that month. Wiped it out.
Yeah.
You've literally in 1 month negated whatever saving. And the third thing, and this is one of those, when I speak to people that do it, that they get most annoyed with, is it limits you to where you can spend the rewards. So if it's, for example, Amex, and it's BA points, from Manchester, you can't get a BA flight anywhere.
Really?
No. So you then are directed to spend your points.
You have to go to Dubai from Heathrow.
From Heathrow. You have to. And therefore, but there might be an Emirates flight that's great value for money from Manchester, but you're like, I have to go with them. And the same with Virgin credit cards. And
you have to pay the same price to get down to London.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think this is the mindset here where there's nothing wrong with it. People can do it well. We are much more interested in you putting the energy and the mental admin that it takes with the spreadsheets and the trackers and the interest rates. Much better just cracking on and saving up for your holiday.
Yeah. Some people love it. And it's like a little hobby. It's like a little side hustle. And they love winning. They love getting one over on the credit card companies, by the way, of which Visa and MasterCard are debt-free companies, aren't they? So
you're not getting one over on them.
Literally, they're laughing at you. In your little bedroom. It's like a hacker. It's giving hacker vibes. Yeah. 7 screens, spreadsheets.
You'd have to.
Headphones, not washing for a week because you're like,
no, and I've seen it done very, very well. We're talking about an absolute minority of people that they get enjoyment from it. They use the point. And like I said, for some people, if you're spending the money anyway, it feels silly to leave points on the table that you could have been getting. But there's so much that can go wrong. The risk of playing around with travel card hacking or credit card hacking doesn't pay off.
And I think also going away from the rewards, why is it so normalized that we are living a month behind?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so normal? Yeah. Why is that so normal?
It really is, isn't it? I feel like we've been brought up like that, where you just put it's so normal.
I know that.
I think we're not the normal people to plan ahead for our expenses and pay for it on time.
Yeah, and in the UK, we're just obsessed with credit scores.
Yes, we are. It's like a reflection of us as a character.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's like, I'll never get a house if my credit score's bad, and they have false ideas of how you A, build up a credit score, and B, how it's actually measured.
Yeah.
The banks don't use, so the credit scores that we all see, the banks don't use. Literally, they are completely separate commercial vehicles. And funnily enough, I have a worse credit score than a lot of people in our community.
Yeah.
And I'm consumer debt free. And the one suggestion it gives me when I log in is, if you take out a credit card, you'll improve your credit score. I'm like, no shit. So of course. And by the way, is this site funded from commissions from credit cards? Funnily enough, I think it is. And so credit scores are important, and building up credit, unfortunately, for a period of time is important for getting mortgages, I think. So we're certainly not dismissing the concept of it. But what people don't compare is the downside. So lots of parents will encourage their children at 18 to get a card, to put a little bit of things on it to build up credit for the day they eventually buy a house. Again, we're talking about the boomer generation that don't realize how hard it is to buy a house. So 12 years later, you're still building your credit.
Yeah, 20 years later.
Credit card debt.
Yeah.
Oh, my score's high.
You're welcome.
But I still live at home in your front room. But I think it's this complete misalignment. You're over here, you're focusing on points and a score and being good with credit, but on the other side, you're running up a debt on it. You're paying extra interest, and you're not focusing on growing your income, making sure that your expenses are manageable so that you can save and invest for the future. So we want people over there. And if you want to be over there and play around with credit card hacking, crack on.
Because some people can do it, and
you'll ace it.
Yeah, proper Rayman energy.
But the rest of us, have we not got enough to handle?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to do.
But I remember being in my last year of uni, and some of my friends were out of uni in jobs, and they had credit cards and stuff. We'd go out for brunch, and they'd be paying on the credit card, and I'd be like, do I need a credit card? And I'm so grateful that my dad was like, no,
Oh, yes.
You will spend so much. Like he was like, I know you. You're just going to spend it all. Like
You're the perfect customer.
And I'm so grateful that like.
But I think financial like institutions, when you go to uni, you are like prime. Like it gets, you circumvent
the overdraft is insane.
It circumvents your parents, like, and they would never know if you're up in Leeds and your family are in Liverpool.
Literally.
You will get stuff delivered to your house. If you open a bank account in Leeds, they're gonna pepper you with overdraft and credit card, and that's your first brush generally with debt. It was for us. So normal. So you're not normal having a credit card at that age, I would say.
I'd be interested to know like where your friends are up to, because I know personally,
I don't know.
Our parents.
I'm gonna ask them, where are you up to?
Where are you up to? Our parents. I remember my mum saying, "We'll get you a credit card at a tiny limit of 500, and we'll pay it off for you, but just little bits and bobs and build your credit." I remember that Barclays card, that was on my debt snowball. When I paid off my debt, the little innocent card that initially I would put like a shop on here or there grew into a few thousand if I have no idea
it's
what.
the gateway.
Yeah, it is.
And I was fine at university. I didn't struggle.
Yeah.
I worked a couple of jobs. I had a little bit of help from parents. That wasn't a lifeline for me. I appreciate that credit can be a lifeline for people during uni. That was the reason for the card. And there's no way I wouldn't have been accepted for a mortgage.
I was just about to say, there's no way that contributed to you getting your
No,
house.
not at all. I still
If
got
anything,
a really
it would,
rubbish interest
it
rate.
would
Do
stop.
you think if you
know.
didn't have that card, do you think you still like would have gone?
You found
Would have
credit
been-
in other ways, maybe.
Well, yeah, I did though. It's normal. So I had a
Yeah.
sofa on finance, I had a car on finance, and I had a credit card, and I had to pay them all off. And so one of them would have, if it wasn't the card, it would have been something else because it was so available to us. But I think what's sad is when a credit card is well-intentioned, we'll help it build your credit score. And then the parents go, see you later. And the 18-year-old
You're
that's
on
never
your own
managed
now.
any money is like,
Yeah.
oh, this is amazing. And then years later, you're thinking that was probably a vodka revolution at some point. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're paying it off. 20 years later,
That
this was the
hangover was
vodka
really worth it.
times 30 because it's got interest. That was an espresso martini.
It wasn't that in our day. It'd have been a mojito.
Vodka, it might have been. Vodka Revolution used to get those
Oh, no.
sticks.
It was a woo-woo. And those massive
Cheeky Vimto.
jugs.
They used to have espresso martini on draft where we used to go. It was so good.
Oh, God.
And one time
sleep
I asked
after.
for it. So like the club that we always used to go through in uni, it was like 3 floors, obviously, like the top floor is like the R&B floor. So we'd always go there. And that's where the espresso martini draft was. And it got to a point, instead of it, because we'd always spill it, it would be like in the plastic martini glass.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, can I just have it in a glass? One time I literally remember having a pint of espresso martini.
God, that sounds so
Second of all,
dangerous.
imagine that much coffee inside me.
Is that when you did your dissertation? Like
Probably.
all-nighter.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to 50p tequila shots? Like that was my university.
Oh, God, no. You couldn't buy anything for 50p at my uni.
I used to go out and spend like £10. Just get free drinks.
I used to drink
Like that.
Lambrini. Like, I absolutely wasted and then spend nothing on the night out.
Yeah.
Thinking
I mean,
I'd
that's the
hacked
key.
it. Like,
Pre-drinks.
free night out, innit?
And a stomach pump. Okay, so I think we have a clear standing on credit cards.
We do.
So I'm going to go into dilemma number 1. Okay, this is a juicy
Hefty
one. This is a juicy one. Buckle in. Okay, my sister won't stop falling for MLMs. For anyone who doesn't know, what's an MLM, guys? MLM. MLM.
It sounds like Eminem.
Multi-level marketing.
Scammers. Sorry.
She went there.
Carry on.
Haven't read the dilemma out yet.
So, hi girls, I need some desperate help. My sister and I, brackets, early 40s, have always been close. We both are happily married and have families of our own. She's a stay-at-home mum whilst her husband works a high-paid job, and this seems to work really well for them. Except for one thing. Despite my many attempts to caution her, she has a knack for falling into MLMs. Skincare, supplements, Tupperware, you name it. She's done it. While it may seem harmless, these schemes always leave her financially and emotionally strained. I've tried to talk to her many times to move her away from these schemes, but she always says she knows what she's doing and she wants to contribute financially to the home too. It feels like no one can get through to her and help stop her from being sucked in. I can see it beginning to take a toll on her and her relationship. What do I do and how do I get her to escape this cycle?
I don't know how direct I can be on this.
Go for it. Go all in.
The Facebook huns have got a lot to answer for.
The Facebook lives. I'm just going to wait for some more people to join.
The millennial pauses.
Hi, guys.
Oh, the amount of pyramid schemes I've been asked to go on, friends sharing it, and not many people know what they are. So I'm going to let Laura take this over because I feel like she's got a really good knowledge of this.
Well, I just think we've seen it so often, and then there's a female and male dynamic that I think we probably need to talk about. But firstly, let's put ourselves into the position of the MLM companies and why they target women. Women are more open to flexible working scenarios. They've often taken time off if they have children to work less, to take a more flexible career, to work more part-time, to possibly not work at all. And that's a genuine decision between a couple, sometimes actually a single parent as well, where the childcare costs and the juggle mean actually it's much better if I can do a work from home job where I'm in control of my hours. Yeah. And if you're in a relationship, I feel like I can contribute, which I think they mentioned in the dilemma. That's a big thing. And so they're also big networkers. Women naturally have the WhatsApp groups, the friendship groups, and they're also spenders. We're spenders. And so this magical combination for MLMs, whether it's, I'm not going to go into specific names, but there's some more household names that, feel less predatory. There's not high spend to go in, but usually you have to buy stock to start off with.
Yeah, so explain to someone if they don't know what it is, like what's the premise of an MLM?
So an MLM, it's called multi-level marketing, but it's about you would effectively, not quite a franchise, but you would set up your own business essentially, but you're basically a salesperson and you will sell a company's product, and you can make money two ways. You can make money through selling product, but sometimes you can also make money from recruiting another friend. And in the most basic examples, I think actually recently like Body Shop went under, didn't it? And that's the most typical one that someone would remember.
Like a traditional one, yeah.
The more normalized one where it's, really good ethical kind of product element of the business and sells through these networks. And, quite frankly, women are going buying skincare from the shops anyway. Why not buy from a friend in terms of the product side? And then there's some more predatory ones, which could be like 5,000 to buy in. And there's these like coaches and levels, and one person, a bit like a recruiter or a manager, has a team and they get a cut of your sales. And so honestly, that's where the pyramid happens, because
gives me the ick. Like just talking about it gives me the ick.
Well, it really does. And it's targeting women. And so what really frustrates me about it is when you look at the actual maths and the sales and the earnings, it is pittance.
It's the people at the top, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like 2% of people that actually do well. And they don't just do well from sales, they do well from everyone else's sales.
They probably aren't doing any sales.
They're probably not doing any
sales.
They'll just be on WhatsApps and kind of cracking the whip and stuff. But so many women actually end up worse off, because you have to invest time in networking groups. You have to do some advertising. You might want to do some Facebook ads or whatever. You have to spend money on product usually.
Yeah, you have to buy a product up front. I think it's like a minimum buy-in for a lot of these. I'm talking like, you'll see them. So I won't name the companies, but the types of things that you might see: fragrances that aren't necessarily brand names, protein powders and supplements, makeup. I'm trying to think of if you've seen them on Facebook, and you can skincare and you can jewelry, you can see people pushing them.
Travel's happened more recently as well, which is again, they're making more money from the recruit.
By the way, travel.
Well, we're from travel and we know how difficult it is to manage, but sometimes these people are making more money from the recruitment of someone than they are the actual like product. So when you look at the net income, so what these women are actually making to contribute to their own flexible life or to the family pot, it's probably tens of pounds, if not 100 a month. Like it's so small, and all the energy and focus could have been directed to like your own career and to advancing, and not thinking that you're not an entrepreneur if you're doing this. That's not a business. No, you're just a salesperson. But there's also an issue with your friendship groups, because you are relying on your closest, nearest and dearest to buy from you. And what we know about the world of business, it doesn't work like that, because just because I sell skincare, you might go to the lady down the road and buy
It's so
experts.
saturated.
Yeah.
Well,
Every man and their dog is selling the same thing.
Yeah, and you
there's
might have a
no
preference as well. So you won't necessarily, like, if you're like die-hard Charlotte Tilbury magic cream and your best mate's going, buy this one, it's amazing, because you know that she needs to hit targets to be able to continue to be in this like community of people that are selling.
Yeah.
And she might work her way up the ladder. How many people have you seen the posts where people are like on a private jet going to like Florida or to Miami to see tens of thousands of other top sellers? That's what gets people going. They're like, that could be me. Realistically, it's statistically probably not going to happen.
But when you're selling, you know, for those people at home that would love to set up their own business, work for themselves, it's a hard journey, as I'm sure not lots of you know. But to sell someone else's product under someone else's terms, it's not the easy way out. It's still very, very difficult. And what you need when you build a business and you have a product or a service is to find the customers that are right for you and to get them to keep buying from you and to stay with you. And so it is not a sustainable business to sell fragrances and clothes and Tupperware and whatever to your friends, because
it's going to run out of steam.
Well, you're just going to...
How much Tupperware do you need? I mean, I've got
loads.
I've got a lot of lids.
Sorry.
I must be honest. I could probably do
I'm
with
in
the
the market
bottoms.
for some actual containers. Anybody?
But I think if we're thinking about what you would say, it's a really difficult one, because she's motivated to earn money and have value and have a role and be a part of a community maybe. So she needs to be told that she is valuable and she is contributing. Yeah. And is there another way? You know, she could probably basically have a lot less stress and make a lot more money having a nice part-time job.
Yeah,
that's her time.
Be a virtual assistant or something where you can still be in control of your hours, be flexible.
Freelance writer,
literally.
Anything, yeah.
But how many men do you see flogging
this
MLM
is true.
stuff?
Men aren't doing it.
Detox tea and stuff.
They're not doing it, are they?
How many men do you see really on TikTok Shop compared to women? Because I feel like that's going that way. There's like an underlying discomfort on some of these social media channels.
Women selling to other women.
Yeah.
Okay, let's all flog.
Can we make
anything?
A pact?
I feel like it puts your friends in a really awkward position as well, because I feel like they need to support you, but they also know it's a pyramid scheme, so they're supporting this huge company.
It's a pity payment, isn't it?
How many people have you seen that have got, I keep seeing it on Facebook, I tend to not go on it really, but where they've got, you know, that they've got a job and then they'll be like, I'm really happy to announce that I'm now, and your heart sinks because you know they're going to come out of it not in a really good situation. But if people put that time and energy into engaging in their own career, you make so much more money. We talked about it last week. You can make so many more strides in your own career, and that's the biggest way to kind of boost your income, is to like progress in your career rather than trying to do side hustles and get distracted.
Yeah, and it's never been a better time to work flexibly. Yeah. So I love now that there's so many options for people that need flexible hours. They want to work from home. They don't want to clock on a shift. Yeah. And so it's never been, it used to be MLMs were the kind of place you'd go if you were a stay-at-home mom or if you wanted to work part-time and pick the kids up. You have so many more options now in a formal job and in a more flexible kind of work for yourself.
Security and rules and insurance and like
pensions.
Wellness, pension. Oh God.
So bringing it back, they've sucked her in clearly.
Yes.
How are we approaching it? How are we kind of making her realise that that's not the option? If you want to make more money, if you want to contribute financially, which you clearly it doesn't sound like she needs to, but she wants to.
She's trying to show willing. I would go at it like, so I've been looking at an MLM scheme, and I want
make an MLM scheme, market it to her.
So I would go in with that. I've been really tempted, and I've seen this new thing. Can I just check the last few times you did it? How much money did you make from each of those?
So you're going to try and catch her out?
Yeah, 100%. Because you don't want to offend her. Get her on side, find the information, be like, oh, you could make like 10 times more money by doing this or that. I don't know.
I would go hard.
I love going undercover.
I think it's important to go hard and like
with love.
Yeah, you might get into an argument or something, but you just know that in a couple of years' time she'll look back and be like, oh my God.
I would go hard, not with, oh, here we go again. Yeah, because I don't want it to be a reflection of her efforts, because these things are set up that you will not win, like you will not make money from it. I would be more saying, you're worth so much more than this.
Yeah.
This is not a great idea. People don't make money from this and you can do so much better. What would you like to do? Shall we workshop it? Should we go for a coffee?
Yeah.
But I would probably be like, no, I would be.
You're not doing it.
It's a sister, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
You can be brutal.
Yeah.
Can you?
No, you're not. So I'm thinking of no. La 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 la.
It's really difficult. You don't want to come across as judgmental, but honestly, MLM, like, phew, it gets me just because it's so predatory to females.
I would love, send us in your stories of MLMs. So email in at thevault@financielle.com, whether it's like when you felt awkward that a friend has started it up, whether you've run one and you like felt like you were duped or that you had a really good experience, prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Whether you're the token friend that spends a lot of money with your friends that are on them to make them feel better, pity payments.
Cabinet full.
Just talk to us about it because it isn't talked about enough. There's a really cool girl on TikTok actually that talks through MLMs that she'll probably put in the Vault newsletter and link because she just talks absolute gospel.
She outs them.
Oh,
I think she got sucked into one and then she realised the enormity of it. She said that she was on WhatsApp every night getting pressure from her manager she recruited a team of people and then the manager that was above her was putting her under pressure to put pressure on her team. So she said, I look back at all the messages that I used to send to people.
So
it was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's like a cult.
Yeah,
we're a family.
Yeah.
No,
you're part of the family.
Scary.
Yeah.
Go make money.
Go sell shampoo.
Okay. I have got, drum roll.
Put my teeth back in.
I've got a voice note community.
Yay.
We love a voice note.
We do.
So.
A voice note is a podcast within a podcast, isn't it? Like I do love a voice note, and I've seen imagine listening to the voice note while you're doing your hair and doing your makeup is a great way of getting an update from your friends.
Yeah,
is it giving main character energy as well?
It is.
Okay, I'm here for
Just
it.
you wait. Okay.
Hey listeners, so this week I was asked to share my money win and I thought, yeah, great, why not? But then when I started to really sit down and think about it, I thought, I don't know that I actually have one for this month. But upon further reflection, I realised that there was a lot that I actually could say. So a while ago, I used to be part of one of these weight loss programs. I won't say which one because I'm not trying to promote anything in particular. Stay with me. I know you're probably thinking, what on earth does this have to do with money? But just stay with me. And with this particular program, they not only emphasized losing weight, but they also talked about non-scale victories, which is the idea that it's not just about the number on the scale, it's about other things. So like it could be how your clothes are fitting or how you feel. And I thought about those non-scale victories and I thought actually the same could be applied to my finances. It's not always about the money that you've got in your account. Sometimes it's about your mindset. And for me, that's been a huge one because before I started using Financielle and their budgeting principles, I would barely look at my bank statements. I wouldn't really focus on finances. I'd worry about them. I'd do everything but take control of them, essentially. So yeah, my money win is that I've just had such a huge boost in confidence when it comes to my finances. And even though the numbers aren't exactly where I'd like them to be, I can survive. I am now getting to the end of the month with money. And that's something that just seemed like an impossibility a few months ago. So that's my money win, just getting to the end of the month with money left over, having that excess that I can put towards my goals. I'm shifting my debt so much faster than I ever anticipated. And it's all because there's just a great community that I can discuss these things with. So if you're not part of it, I suggest you jump on the app and get involved. But also because I decided to take stock of my finances and not run away from them, but run towards them, knowing that I can make the necessary changes. So that's an encouragement for all of you. Even if it feels like you're not where you want to be, even a change in mindset is a win worth celebrating. So have a think about that for the rest of the week. I hope to hear lots of your money wins throughout the podcast and in the community. And yes, I'm wishing everybody the very best of luck and every success on their money journey. Bye.
Oh my God.
Legend. What a share.
Incredible.
She needs to come and sit on the sofa with us, I think.
She does. I mean, God, the way she describes stuff, she could write a book, couldn't she?
That was the non-scale victories.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot.
So having this like numerical victories and totals only get you so far, don't they? Like, I'd like to save £1,000. I'd like to save £10,000.
Yeah.
I'd like to buy a car, whatever those things are. But seeing how confident she is really, really inspiring, because she knows that she's not where she wants to be, but she's moving a lot quicker and a lot happier. I wonder how many, like, do you have any non-money victories? Because she covered a broad amount there about confidence, but what's like a non-money victory? Non-skill, non-money victory.
Non-scale victory.
Not feeling overwhelmed anymore. Like, I was a bit like her, never check my bank account. There's a funny story whereby I didn't check my bank account for like, I don't know, 18
Years.
months. I was like locked
Oh my
out
God.
of my Halifax, and I was like, nah, I'll be fine. Like, literally every month, and it happened.
Husband was
Living
siphoning
life
off
on the
money
edge.
to the Cayman
Laura every
Islands.
month was like, have you sorted it out? I was like,
How
no,
scary
I'll
was
sort
it, like, checking it the first time?
Yeah, it was just getting into that
Did you, like,
rhythm.
scroll back and be like, ooh,
Yeah, no, I think I was like, anything that went beforehand didn't actually happen.
clean slate?
We're starting again. But yeah, I
Because you were overwhelmed.
It got to a point where I never checked it, so therefore checking it would be quite overwhelming. And then I think I did the playbook and sat with Laura and went through a few things. And yeah, like maths is really difficult for me, like mental arithmetic. We were laughing about it the other day when I used to work in Debenhams as like a shop girl, when people say to you, oh, can I give you the 5p? And I'd be like, no.
That was my worst.
Then I'd have to work
can't
out.
do that.
Maybe.
If you were not allowed to accept
Give the rest of it
that.
as well.
Seriously, if someone throws me off course mentally, if I'm put on the spot when it comes to money and finances, which is ironic because I run a financial wellness brand.
That's why.
Because it's not about the numbers. It's literally not. It's about the little things, like she said, checking your bank account every day, running towards your finances. So just being open to whatever might be there. And we always tell people it's just numbers, even if it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good. It's very emotional, like women especially, with the nature of impulsive spending and all the things we have to look after in the life admin. It can just be really super overwhelming. So we'll gladly just not look at it. But yeah, biggest bit of advice and biggest mindset change for me and non-monetary win is just checking my bank account and being okay with whatever's there, because we can work it out.
Yeah. I think mine is like not having massive like peaks and troughs.
Mm-hmm.
Troughs?
Yep.
Troughs?
Like
When it comes to money. When it comes to money, and it's not like, oh my God, like I'm so panicked. I'm like, oh my God, I got the payday, I got the
Yes.
it's smooth sailing. Maybe I'll have like, oh, I shouldn't have spent that.
Yes.
Or
There's no drama.
There's no extremes. Like
because it's planned out every month.
Yes.
Like it gets to payday. I've done my budget like last week. I know exactly how it's going to go.
yes.
Like
You kind of, with doing the Financielle way, you kind of spent everything ahead of time. So you've got a
It's-
dopamine hit by
yeah,
going,
a lot of
moved
people-
I'm
up.
going to buy this.
A lot of people say when
they
they first start budgeting, they're like, oh, I actually feel like I've got no money. But it's just because every penny is like accounted
Yeah.
for and like you know where everything's going. You've
Yeah.
got money.
And it's
You
on
just
going
don't
on
have
good
that,
stuff.
like-
You're not
Yeah.
saying, oh, you can't buy anything.
Yeah.
I've got a lovely like beauty. I'm getting like beauty treatment this month. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get beauty treatment. And
Yeah.
it's put aside. Like
Yeah.
that's the little dopamine hit. But you get loads in one go when you're planning out your budget.
Yeah.
So much more fun.
No, I love it.
That's
Yeah.
a good one, because I think I love the memes, like the payday memes
Yeah.
of, and actually a lot of the, social channels, the Sherlocks of the world will say, what's your payday buy? I hate them.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate them. One, buying things shouldn't be connected to payday. If you want to buy something on the 27th of the month,
Yeah.
the 2 days before payday, and there's money in your clothing budget or hair budget, why can't you buy it then? That's fine. But we're conditioned that there needs to be, oh man, I'm going to get this payday.
Payday
Having the
drinks.
splurge. It's the Sunday
There's so
before you
many-
start healthy eating on the Monday.
Literally, it's like a lot of companies, especially fashion companies in Manchester.
We're looking at you. Oh,
They have literally like payday sample sales, payday like lunch,
Discount
and there's
code.
like all vans and stuff for the staff. And it's like they're not free. Like the staff go and it might be discounted or something, but you've just been
encouraging
paid
your
money by
staff.
that company.
you're
And
giving it
now
back
you're
to
giving
them.
it back to them.
Okay, I need the tea after this.
Yeah.
Because I want to see
I'm
evidence
going to
of
name
it.
drop.
I'm taking this conversation offline.
But there's that, and then there's the jokey, oh, I've not now got 24p in my bank account,
Yeah.
like as if, because I've spent it, and that's the extremes that you're talking about. So I like
It's
that.
very normal in our society to make fun, isn't it, on day 3 to have no money left.
Yeah.
It's like a given that it's
It's
going to
like, oh, what am I like?
Yeah.
Silly me.
Silly me again. Try again.
You're like
next month.
poking fun at ourselves, and it's all right. It's okay. Like we're all having a laugh. We're all human. But to change that habit is massive. It is game changing. And only when you said it, I've realised how abnormal my probably payday routine is.
Yeah, it will be. But the
Because it's
idea
not
of
that splurge.
reducing extremes is massive. So like I can imagine the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows, and
Or you come into money, like you get gifted
Yeah.
money.
what would I do? Like I've got to spend it.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not used to it. Whereas if there was a place for it to go,
Yeah.
no, I like that one. I was trying to think about what my non-money win would be. And I think it's the concept of sinking funds. So when years and years ago, when I first learnt about, ironically, saving up in advance for something that you know you're going to spend.
Funny that.
This is so simple. This is not rocket science, is it? But we've been brought up on credit cards. You put the holiday on a credit card and we'll pay it off as we go along. Or you'll, if you need to pay for insurance, you'll pay for it on the monthly payment and not the annual, because it's just, why wouldn't you? I've not got £700 or £400 or whatever. I'll pay for it monthly. And I remember when you first do the Financielle methodology, where you include sinking funds into your budget, there's two things. One, you think you've not got a lot of money. That's I already felt stressed and now I feel worse. But the discipline of starting to put something aside that you don't touch is one of the hardest. I describe it as putting my big girl pants on.
Yes.
I'm finally adulting. And I've spent my entire adult life prior to that not doing that. And then the first time that you need to use it, so whether it's saving up for your emergency fund or whether it's a sinking fund, like the car sinking fund has always blown my mind, because we've got 2 cars in our family, and not using your savings to pay for car tyres is honestly one of the biggest game-changing moments for us as a family.
You're not seeing that big number go down.
Yeah.
No, and even now, sometimes my husband will go, oh, the car needs this. And I'll go, it's there. We've already, as you said, mentally spent that money. If there is £400 or £500 in the car maintenance fund, it's not ours. It's for the mechanic that will in the future help us with our car. And that was game changing. The fact that the first time you use that money and it's there, you're like,
feels free.
I'm really
proud of myself.
So I think that's my non-money win.
Nice.
Well done, T.
Yeah, legend.
So I've got another dilemma. My mother-in-law died without a will. My mother-in-law died 1 year ago, but she never made a will. She left 2 children, who are my husband and his sister. We have a 12-year-old boy together, whilst his sister has 4 grown-up children. Okay. We know that the estate is worth upwards of £200,000, but we're unsure on the exact amount. His sister has been sorting out the estate for the past year, as there have been a few delays. His sister has all of a sudden came out and said that her mum wanted her, my husband, and the 5 grandchildren to be treated almost equally. But my husband has said he never discussed money like that with his mum, and she never expressed any specific wishes. I presumed without a will the estate would get split 50-50 to the son and the daughter, and then it's up for them to decide how they share their money with their children. I really don't want things to get awkward, as we have a great relationship. What should I do?
I'm so sorry that they're going through that as well, because this is, before we go into this, get a will. Write a will. You're not going to die the minute you write it. Like, we've all got something in our psyche that doesn't like the idea of a will, but there are so many stories that we can share from just our community alone, never mind more widely, where when there's not a will, you get dilemmas like this, where actually it sounds like quite a cohesive family. There's no big dramas. It's relationships. And as the person that passes away, 1, you don't want to cause drama, and 2, you do want your wishes to be followed out. And so, you can get really cost-effective ones nowadays. If you think about the value of our estates generally, it's the biggest thing that we hopefully will leave to people, and you just don't want that when you're not there. So I feel like
it's just life admin that it's there for a reason, isn't it? Like, otherwise, what a will's for? It's to stop the ambiguity of what are we going to do when someone dies.
Yeah, and actually, ambiguity is a really good point, because he didn't speak to his mum about money like that. Lots of us don't, especially we don't want to be speaking to our parents like, so who gets what?
Yeah, how much am I getting?
I don't know if you sat around the table with my husband. He's like,
the tortoise. Who's getting the tortoise from last episode?
Getting passed down. Back to the tortoise, my brother.
But if it's very rare for us to speak about money with our family anyway, but to even speak about potential inheritance is just so weird. Like,
money's a taboo, but imagine like layering death on top of that.
So when you're gone, can I, so, but the big problem here is there's no will. And so when there's a formal will, which is, it's got to be a legal will, it's got to be signed in the right way, there's got to be executors, it can't just be a piece of paper. Then when the rules of intestacy in the UK, the rules of intestacy come in. Now, obviously, if you're from different countries, it could be different situations, but generally there is a law that says if there's no will, this is kind of what you do. Now, we've heard there's no mention of a partner, so it sounds like mother-in-law was the last one from her marriage, if she had one, so there's no partner, because if there's a partner, a certain amount of money goes to the partner anyway, first. But then, so in this situation, if there's no partner, it falls to children, as in him, her husband,
immediate children,
and his sister, the two of them. And it's a really interesting one. This is why wills are really important, because lots of us would love to gift things to our grandchildren in any particular way, whether it's evenly, whether it's certain items and possessions. And it really helps to have someone walk you through as you're building your will, what happens and when. For example, what would happen if one of them passed away, before this had happened, what would have happened then? So no, generally it follows that the children, the boy and the girl, like the man and the woman, would split the estate 50-50. And it's for them to, if they want to, gift whatever they want to their children. There's no rule that says, and for grandchildren, you need to be able to give this. So this should have been talked about, ideally. The problem is the sister's going, right, so this is what mum wanted. You have to be so careful to not cause a big argument.
I was just about to say, do we think that the sister's coming across like, so in the will, she wanted...
Because it wasn't a will.
So there was, okay.
But like that, surely that just can't happen.
Yeah,
there's
can't
no
just
like legal thing
so
in place.
She's the executor. I'm assuming the sister's the executor.
So
She can't because there's no will.
No,
so
there's no will. Well,
decides?
She's managing probate. So she's sounds like she's having to, and it's an absolute pain, like gathering all the documents, working out what's owed, and generally, when there's no dispute, by the way, the family can just sort it. Obviously, you need a formal probate to be able to get into bank accounts and stuff, so you don't just suddenly, one person comes into the money and divides it up. There's a lot of processes, but I guess we're talking about the emotional side here, and this is where you decide how, given it, this isn't, it is a lot of money, but we're not talking like, one of those
ride off into the sunset jobs.
Yeah, or like one of those big estates where everyone's in the room.
It's not Saltburn. They're not inheriting the bathtub. You won't know what I'm talking about because you've not seen it.
I've not seen it. Only you have.
I've basically seen it in TikTok clips.
I give up.
You've watched it.
I've not seen 74 seen it.
Yeah.
But typically,
it's not a life-changing amount of money, but you don't want to be that person. I get why she's right in the dilemma. You don't want to, someone's died and you don't want to go,
but then it's getting diluted so much because there's five of them.
Yeah.
Whereas only two members of your family are coming into that money.
Yeah.
And that could really impact like your family. That could
200 grand divided by 2. 100 grand's quite a lot of money, but if it is split between everyone, not that much. So but you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be sat around being like, oh, it's really sad that she died anyway.
I know, but if it grates on you forever, that's
or you
dilemma.
ruin the friendship. People put barriers up when they talk about money, don't they?
Yeah.
They get really defensive, and it might look like you're a bit of a gold digger, even if there's not much to go at.
So
it's really
many
difficult.
People struggle in this. This is why a will is really important. So what would I do? Because it would be you and me, Holly. So I've had more children than you.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a similar scenario, but ultimately it might be helpful for him, not her. She can't get involved. It's not her mum. So rule number one, don't be in the corner going and say this to her and say that to her. Like,
well, you can, but just don't let it be obvious.
Do behind closed doors.
WhatsApp's great.
I think that we should do. But
kiss. Oh, sorry.
Honestly, especially in the UK, the government have a really simple explanation of what the law does in this scenario. And so I think the easiest thing to do is, look, mum wanted so much for all of the children, but what's really hard is it's not written down, and the risk later is that it can come back and be challenged. So why don't we just follow
the rules.
what the rules in law is and follow that? And that would be that the two children split the money evenly.
And they might have children, another child.
They might
And what
have
happens?
Exactly, and it's all be distributed, but also they don't have to give money to the children.
No, yeah.
There's no rules that, and if that's up to you because it's your property, then it's not, I need to divide it
children will
up.
benefit from your contributions, from what you've
Well, it depends. Depends if you go to Saint Tropez with it. Or... What age do you think you should get a will? Would you two do a will?
I don't have one.
I would
But
just
currently my bunny would inherit everything.
That's a responsibility for Bunny. She needs to know what you want, where you want money going.
I think it would just be more, it would be things, which I don't know if it's a will or something else that does this, but like
wishes.
Yeah.
Wishes.
Just like what happens to, like, can someone please log out of my Instagram?
Social assets is actually a really big thing that will companies are really keen on getting people, because what do you do with all your Instagram accounts and the pictures, and someone going to get into my hidden picture camera. Yeah. Snapchat. Oops.
Please delete all the Facebook statuses I made when I was 12.
You just tell Apple to self-destruct your account.
Yeah, literally. So, any final words?
Get a will.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There you go.
Couldn't have said it better.
Mic drop.
Okay, that's all for this episode. The vault is now closed. If you would like to send your dilemmas, please email them to thevault@financielle.com. And just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics, and we are not giving financial advice.